Hello and welcome back to another news video for Final Fantasy XIV with me, Meoni. This time we're talking about Steam service accounts. If you have your Final Fantasy XIV on Steam, this will be of interest to you. They say, as part of ongoing efforts to further enhance account security and bolster fraud prevention measures, we will be implementing an additional account verification and login confirmation process for Final Fantasy XIV Steam version service account holders. Users can verify their account type by logging into the MOG station and selecting the service account status menu, where Steam service account holders will see a Steam notation. Currently, Steam service accounts can be used after Final Fantasy XIV has been launched from any instance of the Steam software. Starting in early March 2022, users who log into using Steam version service accounts will be prompted to perform a one-time link of their Steam account to their Square Enix account. From then on, the Square Enix account will need to match the Steam account that launches the Final Fantasy XIV software. This change will require the Final Fantasy XIV software to be launched from the user's Steam library. Additionally, once the account link has been performed, users will need to utilize the new launcher layout introduced with patch 6.0. If using the original launcher layout setting in the launcher config menu, please now switch to the new launcher layout. So presumably that previous version will not work for this. To link your account, the Steam account must possess a Final Fantasy XIV license that matches that found on the target Square Enix account / Final Fantasy XIV service account. For example, the free trial version or the full game version. You can verify the Final Fantasy XIV licenses on your Steam account by clicking on your Steam display name, selecting Account Details, and then View Licenses and Product Key Activations found under the Store and Purchase History. If your Steam account no longer has a Final Fantasy XIV license, or you no longer have access to the Steam account that contains the license, you need to contact Steam for assistance, which is they provide a link, and I'll provide this link in the description of this video, which is help.steampowered.com. And that's pretty much the way they're going to do this going forward. So it's not that you'll need to have account verification every time you log in, but it will mean that you need to be the specific owner of that exact account on Steam, and you press the play button on Steam and it logs you straight in, as opposed to being able to obviously change, log into someone else's Steam account on your Steam. You'd have to actually physically log out of your Steam account and into their Steam account to access their library to play their version of their game on their account, if that makes sense. You can no longer just boot up your Steam version on your account and log into their details. That will no longer work going forward. This is obviously, slightly irritating perhaps to people who, are couples and they live in the same house and they use maybe the same PC. Maybe logging out of accounts and then logging into another one might be slightly more time consuming. But in the long run, this is simply to prevent other fraud issues and other fraudulent activity and account problems that people have had their accounts hacked through various means. And this presumably as well, as if we go down that route, will probably lead to other account vulnerabilities because of that. So this is a good way of saying that if your Steam is hacked, then there's a good chance that your 14 is vulnerable. It's even further a good reason then to put Steam two-factor account verification on. If you have a mobile phone, you can get the Steam app that will actually give your account the ability to generate a code. So when it identifies that you're logging in from a new area or new computer, it will require that particular code, usually a 4-digit code that the authenticator provides. We live in a day and an age where more and more things are becoming vulnerable. Account verification processes are going to become the norm. If they should already be at that point. But if you're going to invest more than an hour into Final Fantasy XIV, then let's be honest, that's an hour you don't want to lose or more. If you're a player that's put in hundreds of hours into 14 and you're like, oh, I don't need account verification, I don't need authenticators, then I would strongly suggest that you think again simply because that time cannot be, restored to you in every single instance. Sometimes accounts cannot be recovered. Sometimes, depending on the situation, it might be hard for you to go through the process of proving that you're an account holder. So after being through some of this myself in the past, I would strongly advise you to, make sure things are shored up, lock the gates, so to speak, and even though it is a slight inconvenience, put two-factor on things, especially with this as well. Hopefully this will prevent some other measures as well, like account fraudulent activity and other issues, but we'll have to wait and see. But it is a positive change in my opinion. At least your account should be more secure because of it. In the end result of this. Anyway, let me know what you think about this below, and at least then, if you do in March 2022 suddenly realize, wait, why do I have to suddenly link this? What is this? At least you'll know in advance. Anyway, much love, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.